Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Sir Winston Churchill once famously said that we should never, ever give up. However, in spite of this, I warrant that last week the majority of us entered into New Year's resolutions, and only 11 arduous days on have already either broken those or already starting to feel the strain. I, for one, have begun to acknowledge that an entire month without a single takeaway or a single alcoholic drink is quite frankly a pipe dream. So, in an attempt to inspire you to persist with your New Year's resolutions, I'll tell you the short story of an incredible man who achieved great things quite simply because he never ever gave up. Born in France in 1952, Jean-Dominique Bauby was a very intelligent man. After graduating from university, he quickly became renowned as an up-and-coming journalist and quickly rose to the ranks of editor of 3 prominent magazines, including Elle and Vogue. However, his life was turned upside down on the 7th of December 1995 when he suffered a massive and life-threatening stroke. By the time he awoke from his coma 20 days later, Bauby had been diagnosed with a very rare medical condition known as locked-in syndrome. Now, words can't really convey the sheer horror of this condition, but in brief, and without going into all the gory details, locked-in syndrome is a condition whereby your mental capabilities remain 100% intact, but your physical capabilities are totally destroyed, to such an extent that not only are you paralysed, you lose the function to even blink, swallow, or breathe without medical assistance. Put simply, you're mentally alive but physically dead. You're entombed inside your own body. And not only that, the condition is completely incurable. So at this stage, and in the face of such adversity, I think the majority of us would have simply given up, but not Bauby. 8 months on, doctors made a startling discovery. Yes, Bauby was completely paralysed, but for his left eyelid, which he was able to move a fraction of an inch. In light of this, and using a revolutionary new idea known as partner-assisted scanning, Bauby was able to begin to communicate with the outside world. Now, partner-assisted scanning is not of itself an easy thing to achieve. It requires an individual to sit next to your bed and recite the alphabet to you very, very slowly. When the appropriate letter is reached, Bauby would twitch his left eye to indicate that this is the letter that he wanted. Slowly, letters were added together, words were formed, and sentences started to appear. As a result of this, Bauby was telling doctors that he wasn't in pain, he didn't want to die, but that he wanted to write a book. Now, quite rightly, the doctor said this is absolutely impossible, but he wasn't deterred, he didn't give up. He spent the majority of every subsequent evening writing the book in his head, composing sentences, paragraphs and chapters which he transposed to memory, to subsequently then transcribe to his faithful assistant, letter by letter, using nothing but his left eyelid. The result of this process is a rather aptly titled book, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, which is not, as one may expect, a rather long diatribe, simply stating how unhappy he was with his misfortune, stating that he wasn't happy with the medical care he was receiving, or even saying that he wanted to die. Rather, it is a heartwarming and positive account. He draws on the experiences of his life prior to December 1995, and he is grateful for all the times he had prior to his stroke. Not only that, it communicates heartfelt messages to his 2 infant children, to his wife and to his parents, encouraging them to take every opportunity that's available to them, to live every day without regret, and telling them that quite simply, nothing is impossible if you never ever give up. Ladies and gentlemen, this man who was diagnosed with a condition that would send the majority of us to irretrievable depths of despair, has succeeded in writing one of the greatest books I've ever had the pleasure to read, and I'd strongly recommend you do the same. And it's instilled in me the belief that nothing is impossible. So, in summary, when I find myself reaching for a takeaway leaflet and breaking what is a very simple New Year's resolution, I think about Bauby, his struggle, and ultimately his achievement. And this encourages me to persist that little bit longer with not having a takeaway come. And I hope that this short presentation will encourage you to do the same. After all, as Sir Winston Churchill once said, and as Jean-Dominique Bauby has surely proven, nothing is impossible if you never, ever give up.